Hi, this is Jessica DeMassa. I'm here at the GuideWell Insights Lounge at Singularity University's Exponential Medicine 2017. Right now in the lounge, I'm joined by two very important guests from Bayer. We have Dr. Joerg Moeller, who is the Executive Vice President and Head of Pharmaceuticals Development. Welcome. And we also have Dr. Sebastian Guth, who is the Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer, both from Bayer again. Welcome. It's good to have you here. So it's interesting to see a company like Bayer here at the table at XMed, and we've been talking about how basically you've been everywhere where innovation is recently. So talk to me a little bit about your general strategy as far as innovation goes in healthcare. It seems like it's taken a very big strategic priority in your organization recently. Tell me a little bit about what's going on.
So Bayer is a company that has been around for 154 years, and innovation is in our genes. We have been able to renovate and reinvent ourselves multiple times. We are now in the middle of an enormous digital transformation that is impacting the way we do, especially in my perspective, R&D, but it also affects all other parts of our business. And because of that, it is of importance for us to be involved in what's happening. We believe we can't do it just our own. We are relying on collaborations and corporations, and that's why we are here.
Well, tell me a little bit more about how you're innovating the way you do R&D, because that's really what pharmaceutical companies do best, right? You're the original innovators, more or less. So how are you reinventing the way that it's being done in your organization?
It's not only because we are bringing up new molecules that make a difference in the lives of patients that are affected by serious medical conditions. It is also how we do clinical trials. For example, we see moving into electronic clinical trials. We are looking into deep analytics on large data sets that allow us to drive new insights about things we previously were not able to discover and detect. So that's just two examples of where we expect to see major transformations occurring. And I'm sure also Sebastian has examples from the commercial side of things. Yeah,
tell me a little bit about what you're doing in terms of driving, I guess, consumer engagement and innovation within Bayer.
So if you look at it, I mean, our purpose is very clear. We're wanting to apply science to help humanity strive. I mean,
is that all you're trying to do?
That's all we're trying to do. It's a pretty big dream.
Yeah, that's a pretty big dream.
But to Joerg's point, it's a dream we've been chasing for the last 154 years, and it's a dream that where we believe that particularly in this convergence of biology, chemistry, essentially data analytics, technology, we're seeing essentially a new innovation paradigm emerge. And we believe that it will help us to ultimately get closer to this big dream, the purpose of ourselves.
I love what you just said there.
And what we're chasing.
This new innovation paradigm. So what do you see as your role in that new innovation paradigm as a large company with such a rich history of innovation and with such a broad reach? I mean, you're truly a global company. So what do you see as your role in that new paradigm in innovation?
I think it's multiple things. It's at the end of the day, facilitating. It's facilitating and connecting individuals, companies, organizations that as us are chasing similar dreams, because we believe that we're increasingly dependent, to the point Joerg made earlier, that we're increasingly dependent on networks, on individuals, companies coming together to jointly chase those big dreams that I just talked about. I think it's secondly helping companies to scale. I mean, we have scale, we have global presence, global reach, and it's helping young organizations to scale, again, with this common purpose in mind. And it's lastly a very deep understanding of the regulatory environment. I mean, at the end, particularly young organizations are at times underestimating the complexity of the regulatory environment that we all operate in. And helping in that context is again a benefit
without a doubt.
And something that we bring to the community.
And I understand, we've been hearing a lot of your Grants for Apps program and the startups that are being nurtured and incubated within that. How is that going?
It's going very well.
Good.
I mean, we've just completed the last round and we've actually added a new format, what we call the deal maker. So the idea is to bring young companies into our organization with a promise of meeting all the relevant decision makers within 24 hours and ultimately coming to conclusions whether or not we want to partner in one day. which is a big promise.
That's remarkable.
That's remarkable, and it's a big promise to many young companies, because I know from conversations how difficult this often is for them to find the right individuals to talk to, and how incredibly long it takes. And for that alone, we've had more than 1,000 applications. And have brought them together recently in Berlin. So it's
good on you for expediting
that's
that.
That's a great example of exactly what we're trying to do. I think we have a great heritage and expertise in certain things where we believe we are excelling at.
Yes.
In cardiovascular disease, in oncology, in gynecological therapies, hemophilia, just to name a few. But then we're also cognizant of the fact there is things we need to learn and where we are relying on others to help us to incorporate new technologies that allow us to do what we do even better.
So Joerg, I'm going to have to ask you, because you just walked right into it. What do you think you need to learn? What are you looking to learn?
For example, this morning I listened to a great presentation on the microbiome. And that is like fascinating to me, how it is emerging and how we see how we can also shape and form how our microbiome is composed of what it is composed of, but also to see how obviously the microbiome interacts with multiple facets in our body and vice versa. And I believe we are just at the beginning of fantastic insights that will allow us to change and shape the way, for example, inflammation and immunologic disorders will be treated in the future. And to me, that is just fascinating.
No, that's so fascinating. And you often do hear about, pharmaceuticals and how it interacts with the microbiome. And so it's interesting that that's something that has piqued your interest. What about you, to wrap up, Sebastian? What's like, has there been an aha moment here at XMed for you, something that you're very interested in that you've heard?
I think there have been multiple aha moments. I was fascinated with some of the discussions yesterday again around artificial intelligence and the progress we're making, but also the necessity to bring it down to very specific questions where we want to deploy ultimately that technology and that advancement. I think we're doing a lot of work in that space, so that's again very meaningful conversations. I think we're doing a fair bit of work in the field of voice recognition, for example. Also interesting presentations earlier today. So there's a number of just great presentations and fascinating people to meet.
Good. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you both for joining us here in the GuideWell Insights Lounge. It's so wonderful to hear your perspective. Thank you so much again. I'm Jessica DeMassa here at Exponential Medicine 2017. Thank you.
Thank you.